campaign in 2024 that perhaps hadn't voted for him in 2016, hadn't voted for him in 2020. They tell me now they want someone who's going to advocate for them. They feel that they are not heard by the Biden administration on certain issues, and they want to turn towards, they want someone who will fight for them, and that's something that is drawing them closer to Donald Trump. And I hear him behind me just now saying that this is earlier than he anticipated. So,
all right,
back to you,
I'll
Lana.
let you turn your attention now to hearing those remarks and, of course, bringing us any updates as you have them. I want to turn now to CBS News Chief Election and Campaign Correspondent Robert Costa. He's also there in Charleston, South Carolina. Robert, tell us about where you are and the mood there.
Well, sometimes they say a picture tells 1,000 words. This is the party and the celebration night for primary night for former Ambassador Nikki Haley. As you can see behind me, not a big crowd here at the moment, though the race was just called for former President Donald Trump. Nikki Haley has a lot of roots here in South Carolina, twice serving as governor, elected in 2010, reelected in 2014. But after she went into the Trump administration in 2017 as the ambassador to the United Nations, she didn't exactly keep her political base here in South Carolina totally intact. So it's been a bit of a rebuilding process for her in the past few weeks, but she maintains that she is staying in this race. I spoke to her at length yesterday, and she says she has her eyes on not only Michigan's primary coming up this week on Tuesday, but also those Super Tuesday states in early March. She still believes there are many Republicans out there, traditional Republicans, many of them, who want to see a different nominee, who are worried about the electability of former President Trump, especially if you look at his recent comments about black Americans. Haley today told reporters she found them disgusting. And she is also concerned about what Trump's legal challenges could mean for the party.
Well, I want to dig into both of those, but let's start with the electability question, because recent CBS News polling coming out just the last few days had a significant projected advantage to the former ambassador over the current president, Joe Biden, in a head-to-head matchup in November, should she get the nomination. But when it came to the former president, Donald Trump, and Joe Biden, it was within the margin of error. So, Robert, can you talk to us about whether or not that argument about electability, about the general election in November, why that doesn't seem to be resonating as much as Haley is hoping that it would?
It comes down to something that's pretty fundamental in the message of so many voters I've spoken with here in South Carolina and elsewhere across the country. They're not making their vote, they tell me, so many of them, based on some kind of political calculation. Their support for Trump, if they are a Trump supporter, is something more visceral, emotional. They see Trump as a movement politician who's standing against a political and legal establishment they perceived as aligned against Republicans. They share his grievances about all of the legal cases he is facing. And so they're tied to him in a way that's much more than some kind of political relationship. They see him as an avatar for their own feelings about the government, the economy, the culture. And that's helping Trump, despite all of his challenges across the board, to maintain power inside the Republican Party.
And on that point, I'm going to share with our viewers that South Carolina Republican primary voters were polled today, and they said that if Trump was convicted of a crime, how many of them would still feel like he was fit to be president? A whopping 65% believe that he would. Robert Costa, thank you so much. We're going to have continuing coverage of all of the elections, as well as additional reports coming out of the South Carolina primary throughout the weekend here on CBS News. 48 Hours is next. I'm Lana Zach. Thanks for watching.
Crystal always had a great spirit about her. She knew what she wanted. She went for it.
To jump out of a perfect